This video is to show you the construction of all the major scales using Iwako eraser hedgehogs, because why not? So this is C major, and for our purposes it doesn't matter if it's for the left hand or the right hand, and these are the finger numbers. So you can ignore those as well. But what I want you to see is the pattern of whole steps and half steps for each scale and how that impacts the sharps and flats. So C to D is a whole step, D to E is a whole step, E to F is a half step. There's your whole, half. Then you have a whole step connecting the second tetrachord, which is whole step, half step. Now, up a fifth from C major is G major. Here, if you want to see it, is the left hand, the fingering for the left hand. G major is going to have a sharp. The sharp, I want you to notice, is on the 7th degree of the scale. Hi, Muffy. If you walk through, they'll see you. G to A is a whole step. A to B is a whole step. B to C is a half step. That's your first tetrachord, whole, half. It connects to the second tetrachord with a whole step. Hup, there we go. Attention-seeking cat. And then D to E is a whole step. E to F sharp is a whole step. And F sharp to G is a half step. That's your second tetrachord. Don't sit on it because then they won't be able to see it. Whole step, half step. And that's an F sharp. So when we get to the circle of fifths, you will notice, no, you can sit a little bit further, but not there. Yeah, I know. It's been a rough morning already. So the first sharp in the circle of fifths for sharps, which you'll understand what all that is later, is F sharp. And here's the left hand fingering, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, if you want to know. Now, the next scale in the circle of fifths, which we'll learn all about that, is D major. It's up a fifth from G major, so that's why, now they can't see it, Muffy. Ooh, now we're getting feisty. Okay, well, I think it's time for you to move on. I'm so sorry. Ooh, there you go. Even managed to trim a paw this morning without dying. So there's going to be two sharps, F sharp and C sharp, and that is because D to E is a whole step, but to get the next whole step, you have to go E to F sharp, then a half step. That's your first tetrachord. Tetra means 4. You have a whole step and your second tetrachord. Whole step, half step. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. This is the fingering for the left hand. The scales of C, G, D, A, and E have the same fingering, but after that it gets a little dicey. Up a fifth from D major, up a fifth from D is A. So in the order of the circle of fifths, the next scale is A major. And you're going to have the F sharp and C sharp from D major, and you'll add a new sharp on the 7th scale degree, and that is G sharp. So A to B is a whole step, B to C sharp is a whole step, C sharp to D is a half step. Then you have your whole step connecting the two tetrachords, 4 notes, and then E to F sharp is a whole step, F sharp to G sharp is a whole step, and G sharp to A is a whole half step. So whole, half, whole, half. And that fingering for the left hand, if you're wanting to play it on the piano. So in E major, which is up a fifth, E is up a fifth from A, you keep the F sharp and no, just kidding, you keep the F sharp and the C sharp and the G sharp, and you add a sharp on the 7th note of the E major scale to D sharp. So E to F sharp, we're going to add a sharp every scale until we get to flats. E to F sharp is a whole step, F sharp to G sharp is a whole step, G sharp to A is a half step. Then you have your whole step, and you go whole step, half step. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. And then the fingering for the left hand. So the right hand goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. B major will have the same fingering in the right hand, but here's where it starts to get interesting. The left hand fingering is different, just so you know that. So you're going to keep F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp, and you're going to add a sharp on the 7th note and to make an A sharp. B to C sharp is a whole step, C sharp to D sharp is a whole step, D sharp to E is a half step, and then you have your whole step connecting the two tetrachords. F sharp to G sharp is a whole step, G sharp to A sharp is a whole step, and A sharp to B is a half step. The fingering for the left hand, if you want to know this, starts on 4. All right, now B major can also be called C flat major, and here we get into the flats. If we had a picture showing you C flat major, every note would be flatted. The keys on the piano would be the exact same keys, but you would say, because B major and C flat major are enharmonic. Okay, somehow that got juggled. I may have to start over. I'll check it. C flat up a whole step is D flat, up a whole step is E flat, up a half step is F flat, up a whole step is G flat, up a whole step is A flat, up a whole step is B flat, up a whole step is C flat. And up a fifth from C flat is G flat major, because C to G is a fifth, so C flat to G flat is a fifth. And you're going to lose a flat. So here everything was flatted. But on the 7th scale degree, instead of an F flat, you have an F. So G flat up a whole step is A flat up a whole step is B flat up a half step is C flat. Then you have your whole step to D flat, and then D flat up a whole step is E flat up a whole step is F natural, so there's no flat on F in this key signature, and then F up a half step is G flat. And do not figure out what this fingering is until you have a lesson with somebody. All right, then G flat up a whole step up a fifth, G flat up a fifth. What I'll go back and do is probably just add on to the video what I think the ones that got tripped up for the camera getting turned by somebody's tail. So D flat up a whole step is E flat. And we're losing another flat. So instead of a C flat, you're going to have a C natural. D flat up a whole step is E flat up a whole step is your F up a half step is G flat. Then you have your whole step from G flat to A flat. Then you have A flat up a whole step is B flat up a whole step is C, and C up a half step is D flat. So this one is only 5 flats. G flat had 6 flats, C flat had 7 flats. A flat major is up a fifth from D flat major. If both have the same accidentals, you can do it from the white keys. D to A is a fifth, D flat to A flat is a fifth. So you're losing another flat on the 7th scale degree. Instead of G flat, you'll have G natural. That's why you only have 4 flats in the key signature. Because C flat had 7 flats, G flat had 6 flats, D flat had 5 flats, and now A flat will have 4 flats. A flat to B flat, up a whole step. B flat to C is up a whole step. C to D flat is your half step, so whole, whole, half. Then you get your whole step to connect the 2 tetrachords. D flat to E flat is a whole step. E flat to F is a whole step. F to G is a whole step. And G to A flat is your half step. Up a fifth from A is E. So up a fifth from A flat is E flat. And you're losing another flat. So E flat will have 3 flats in the key signature. D natural. So E flat up a whole step is F. F up a whole step is G. G up a half step is A flat. A flat up a whole step is B flat. B flat up a whole step is C. C up a whole step is D. And D up a half step is E flat. So it's whole, whole, half, then a whole step, whole, whole, half. Then we get to 2 flats. We're losing the G flat. Just kidding. We're losing the A flat. A flat. So whole step to B flat to C, whole step C to D, half step D to E flat. That's your first tetrachord. Then you connect with a whole step, E flat to F. The second tetrachord, F to G is a whole step, G to A is a whole step, A to B flat is a half step. So can you guess how many flats are in the next key? Now here it doesn't work because B is at the point where you have a B on the keyboard, it's a half step white key. So B to C is a half step and E to F is a half step. So the thing doesn't work. You can't say B flat to F flat, and you can't say B to F. It's B flat to F. Up a fifth from B flat is F. And when we learn about intervals, you understand better. So this is 2 flats in the key signature, which we'll learn about later, and this is 1 flat. And the flat you're losing is the E flat. because you need a half step from E to F. So in the sharps, the reason you add a sharp there is because you need a half step from 7 to 1 or 7 to 8. And the same reason why you lose a flat there is because you need a half step there. If you had a flat here, you'd have a whole step, and that wouldn't be right either. So F to G is a whole step, G to A is a whole step, A to B flat is a half step. That's your first tetrachord, whole, whole, half. Notice you don't count this as anything, but from there to there. Then you have a whole step connecting the two tetrachords, and then you have a whole step and a whole step and a half step, and that's F. And then it goes back to C. Now I'm pretty sure we were around D major when Muffy, the Amazing Wonder Cat, rolled through, and we might have gotten to C flat before I noticed the problem. So let me do those over again, just to show you to see the whole picture. Okay, so whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. That's D major. A major, here's the picture. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. E major, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. B major, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And that's also C flat major. C flat to D flat, D flat to E flat, E flat to F flat, because everything's flatted, F flat to G flat to A flat to B flat to C flat. All right, I'll watch this and make sure that you got all the ones in the picture. Sorry about this.